Hey Julian, this is Adrian Gomez with 212 Athlete. Thanks for sending these in and signing up for our yearly plan. We got some things to work on for sure, and I think that's going to lead to your improvement, and I'm excited to look at this. So your back leg, the way that you squat well, but I would like this back heel to turn up a little bit earlier. Because right when your heel turns, you can see how your foot is scraping. The one on the right actually looks better, but this one, the foot is scraping forward. I want the heel to rotate up quicker, and that will allow your hips to go through, and for you to push for a lot longer. So right when your back heel comes up, your front foot hits the ground, and so you can't continue to push off your back leg. So all of that energy of your transfer is gone. So this is what we call power out of the back leg. So that needs some work. Because your heel is stationary, you're kind of stuck. You're stuck there, and you want to push, but you're not able to do it because it doesn't come off. So this should be what it would look like even before you touch the ground. Your heel should be up and should be going forward. So that's the first one. The second one is the angle out of the back leg is at 94, and this is what I suspected, because your back heel does not come off up fast enough. You're not able to push for a longer period of time. So the idea is, how long can I push off my back leg? And that transfers into distance, and then that's what gets into this angle. So this angle is 94. I'd like to see it at 110 and above. So that's what it looks like. So you've got to drive further. So people do the towel drill. Towel drill is okay, but people do it for distance. But the idea is, keep your back leg on the ground for as long as you can with the heel coming up and driving with your toe, and that will produce distance, not the opposite way. So that needs to go up. That's 94 degrees. And let's look at your front foot. As you plant, you actually do a good job of that front leg. So that I don't think that's an issue. You're actually retracting, your knees coming back, and your chest is driving through, which is what I want to see. But so front knee, not a huge issue, I don't think. But the back leg, you can see how the back leg comes up. As soon as your back leg's off the ground and it's coming in this direction, it's bent, your hips aren't rotating. So you're not getting quite the hip rotation that you need. It's your back leg's completely collapsed. So that's a drill called the box drill 1 and box drill 2, where you're learning how to drive off of the trampoline or off of the ground and drive your hips first, with this back leg being kind of straight. I mean, I'm not going to say it's completely straight, but it is somewhat straight, so that your hips can rotate and not necessarily have your knee come in and do that, if that makes any sense. So as far as the lower half goes, we've got to work on your back foot and your heel, your back leg driving your hips through, hip rotation, so power to the back leg, and the double angle. We need double angle. That needs to get bigger. It's at 94, and it should be up to above 110. So we've got to get bigger distance and move that front foot further and further, and that's going to allow you to create more power out of the back leg. All right, so now we get into posture at ball release. So posture at ball release, you're right here. So I'm going to look at this posture right here. We're going to go backwards. And I'm going to tell you the reason why your head keeps moving towards this line is because this back leg is completely off the ground, and you're not able to drive that chest forward. So this chest right here should be driving more towards your target so that your arm and your chest and your body, everything's going towards your target as much as you can. And right now, because of that back leg, it collapses and your chest goes far this way. So I really think that this is what we would call an A posture, a B posture, and a C posture. I really think you're close to a B, but if we get that back leg working the right way that it should, I think you should be a B posture, because you shouldn't be driving off and moving so far this side with your head. You're going to move somewhat. You're going to fall off across the mound anyway, but not that much. So that we got to lock that in. What does that mean? Well, you're staying back here, and your timing right now. You're breaking your hands way too early. And so you need to be able to keep those hands together for a longer period of time. Together, 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 together. Now they separate. So, you're separating way too early, and that should have given you time to do what you need to do as far as your lower body. So because you're separating so early with your front glove and your throwing arm, you're just a little bit you're way too early in as far as separation. So you're already ready, and that's why your foot has to pop down and get through, because your upper body timing is off. So you got to hold on to that ball for a little bit longer, and let your lower half work first. So posture, release point right around here, and I want to be outside of this front foot. So you need to be able to drive as far forward. This chest needs to be extended. Front knee needs to come back. And the only way we can do that is that back leg stays straight, so you can really drive that chest further. And I want to get release points out in here. So that launch, that needs to get better. For sure, that needs to be something. So launch, that needs to be worked on. We're going to go into front glove and stacking. So let's look at your stack. Your stack looks pretty good. So what does that mean? Well, it means that your head stays over that back rubber as long as you can, so that your lower half is going first and then your upper half's going second. But it looks like you're trying to do too much with your upper half too early, and that's why you kind of hung out to dry to throw all arm with your lower half. So you've got to work that lower half. Stack is pretty good here, but this upper body needs to stay back as long as you can, and keep your hands together for a longer period of time, because you're just separating way too early. You should be pushing before you start separating, because right now you haven't pushed. You wait. Now you're about to push, and all of a sudden my foot comes down. So stacking needs to improve. Front glove. So you can see how you separate here, almost like a T throw. But I want you to keep this front glove needs to stay bent. You do a good job of pinching there, but it needs to happen sooner and more fluid. This needs to come pinch early. That's a good firm front glove, and that's pretty damn good. But the timing's off. The timing's off on that. So we've got to make sure that comes through, and you start driving with your elbow first and allowing yourself to get around that front side. So that front glove's awesome. It actually looks good, but the timing, you need to lead with your elbow and get that shoulder blade pinched. Timing is going to be everything. So front glove. Now we got to get into chest extension. So your chest extension right here is about 40 degrees. What I'd like to see happen is you get around 50. Let's see where 50 is. I want you to drive a little bit further forward and less of a release point up. Let's look at high elbow. Your elbows. So chest extension, you're pretty good at 40 degrees, but it needs to go a little bit higher, into the 50s. So you need to drive. But what I'm worried about right here is this high elbow. So this backside high elbow, you can see how it's elevated above the shoulder, and right here, as you come through, it's still elevated. So I'd like this shoulder and elbow to be kind of a little bit lower, about 2 or 3 inches, a lower pinch. So your shoulder blade's pinching down and holding that down. That's going to help improve the arm path, to get you a little bit lower elbow. So let's test this really. Let's see right here. Trying to get in here. Both of the shoulders. Right about that. So about 2 degrees above. Elbows are just a little bit higher, and you can see it on this side. See how it's coming? Instead of driving through with your chest, it comes up. Instead of just, this is what it should do. It should stay on that plane and drive through. But it can't stay on that plane when your back leg's completely off the ground. So there's no stability in the backside. So the backside has to be stable for your chest to drive through, and that elbow to stay low and drive through. So that's a more efficient arm path. It's just going to be a lot more efficient with that back leg. So the back legs really determine a lot, and that's what I really want you to focus on. So high elbow is a problem. That's something that you're going to have to work on. So just 212athlete.com, go on to your membership portal, and then you'll be able to get on there and look at the things that you need to work on that specific weakness with the high elbow. Chest extension, I'm going to look at right here. Last one, this is called an arm fly out. And you can see how everything's cocked back right here. It lays back pretty good. But you can see this wrist go out from inside to outside, inside to outside. So I want to, let's measure this real quick. About 60 degrees. I like to get to about 45, right around in here. And I know this is small, but maybe 40. I know this is small, but we want to make sure that wrist stays over that elbow as much as it can. And that's what's going to allow you to drive through and drive with your body. So on a recap, back leg squat, that needs to improve the timing of your upper body. The plant leg, 94 degrees, that needs to improve to 110. Your front leg, the way you plant in your front leg actually looks really good. External rotation of your front leg is fine. That's really fabulous, actually. Stacking, you need to be able to stack better, keep your upper body back longer for a longer period of time. Front glove is actually pretty good, but the timing of when you split your hands are way too early. You got to hold on the ball for longer and allow your lower half to work. What else? Chest extension is pretty good at 40 degrees. Needs to be to about 50. You have a high elbow as you come through, high elbow extension, and then you also have a little bit of an arm fly out. So all of those things that I just said are weaknesses online. Click on them, take notes, watch this multiple times, and take notes on the things that you need to work on. And once you get a few weeks of work in, you can throw me another video, and I will analyze it again, and we'll see where we're at, see how we improve. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And don't hesitate to contact me.